If your name were Glycerine, what would your nickname be?
Glissy.
Glissy. Hey, Glissy, get on it.
Butterscotch. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 80 of Coffee with Butterscotch, the game dev comedy podcast of Butterscotch Shenanigans. I'm Seth, and I'm the games programmer.
I'm Adam, and I'm a YouTuber.
What?
I'm Sam, and I make art.
Actually, I'm kind of reeling from this YouTuber
I haven't
thing.
made art for a long while.
I've made
You're
at
a
least
YouTuber.
2 YouTube videos, which I'm pretty sure makes
Well,
me a YouTuber.
you only need one.
Yeah.
And then you YouTubed.
Right. It's
So
like
you're
being a
YouTuber now.
novelist. You just have to have started writing at least one novel.
Yeah.
And now you're a novelist.
Yeah. Oh,
Perfect.
also, today's January 3rd, 2017, and we're going to swear on this podcast, so get
Fuck
out,
yeah.
get out of here if you don't like it.
You scamp.
Yeah. I'd squeeze that in there under the wire before this conversation flew off the rails.
I almost did. Oh, also, while we're talking about podcasts and profanity and stuff, we have a little thing up that you can go tell us why you listen to this podcast.
It's called a survey, Adam.
That's right.
It's at podcast.bscotch.
That's where we find out how far away the questions are from us.
Yeah, and what
Right?
angular
And the
degrees.
degrees. Yeah. So
It's a survey.
if you could help us measure,
We're doing a podcast survey to kind of check out the landscape of the podcast.
You know, if someone
community.
doesn't know that that's what that word also means, this is gonna be real confusing.
if there's anybody who listens to this podcast and isn't confused at high frequency,
Good. Yeah.
I think
What about
that's
low
surprising.
frequencies? All right, let's get into it. Seth.
Okay. So it's a new year.
No.
It's 2017. 2016 ended finally.
Also,
we did it.
everybody died in 2016.
Everybody.
Who else died?
Nobody left.
Princess Leia died?
She did.
I was on a boat. Didn't know it
Sam
happened.
didn't know it happened, and then he comes back to the U.S. and he's like, "Hey," we're all like,
Nope.
She's gone.
Nothing good has happened.
"Yeah,
Fortunately, though, since everybody already died last year,
we're out. We ran out
no
of
one's
people.
going to die this
Yeah,
year.
we're good.
It's perfect.
Perfect." And Sam, you want to cruise?
Yeah.
You want to talk about that? You
It
want
was
to
good.
tell people?
Well, so here's the
tell
fun
us,
story.
plebes, what it's like to go
Yes, you.
cruise on the ocean.
Peasants. So went with the wife's family.
Okay.
Family.
I got
And,
some weird breaks in there.
And so we had. So I want to tell the story because we had last time we went on a cruise with our family a couple years ago. It was actually right before I got re-diagnosed. So there's a lot of anxiety going into the first night in the hotel before the cruise ship because that was the place in which I found a lump last time I went on a cruise. Right.
Because you went into the cruise the last time, and then while you were on the cruise, felt the lump.
It was the
In
day
the
before we started the cruise.
Oh,
Yeah.
So there's that moment of sort of like, oh,
Deja
fuck.
vu.
And
Yep.
then you go, I'm going to try to relax now and have a good time on the
I was
ocean.
gonna enjoy this. So that didn't happen this time. So
That's good.
That was a great start.
breaking
And I was
tradition.
like, nothing bad could happen because I'm good. This is good.
And then Carrie Fisher died.
and then Carrie Fisher died.
Something bad had to happen. You were
But-
going on a cruise.
The important thing from the entire cruise is that Diane and I won. And what I mean by that is
Won the cruise.
We won the cruise. There was a newlywed game show on the cruise. And Diane and I are very intense people. And so we had seen this last time we went. They do this every single time. There's one of these events every week. And we said to ourselves, when we get married, we're going to come back and we're going to win this show. So before we get on the cruise ship, we look up and review 150 questions that normally get asked in newlywed games. Okay.
So the assumption is that every newlywed game just also Googles the list of the top questions.
Now, I mean, I watch a lot of TV. I know about the newlywed game, but maybe you should explain what it is for the people who don't know.
Yeah. For
So-
example, I don't know.
So the
Yeah,
idea
I've never
is,
seen or heard of.
the
a
idea is
newlywed
that
game.
you choose somewhere between 2 and 4 couples usually and put
So
them up
3.
on stage. 3's good. There were 3 in this circumstance. Yes. You put them up on stage and then a sort of, the game director asks or makes the women all leave and then asks the men a series of questions. Then the women come back and have to answer the same questions. And if you guys are matching, then you get a point.
And then much shenanigans ensue.
Yes. But shenanigans ensue because of the fact that people don't communicate very well, usually.
And probably lots of sexism ensues.
Tons of it.
Yep.
So that was one of the more weird things about the cruise is that every joke that comedians made on the ship and just like the general sort of milieu about marriage was like, oh man, it sucks so bad. Just every time. Yeah. Like, what are you doing, you guys? This is great. So Diane and I prep for probably 30 minutes the night before.
It's the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, we have no idea when this is going to happen. We just know it's going to happen. So we go up, and the thing is, this is one of the most widely attended events on the cruise. So there's literally like 2,000 people in various places watching.
Did you plug the podcast while you were up
No. I didn't say a word. But so we go in there, and there was a newlywed couple who just got married like 2 days before the cruise. So we didn't just get in. They took them as the earliest couple, and then they took this old couple who had been married for 61 years.
So by what definition were they newlyweds?
As in they'd been married for like 2 years. Or 2 days before the cruise ship. They were the most newlywed people.
The 61?
No, the young people.
Oh.
No. My question was the old people.
They always just use them as
the
a count.
newlywed.
It's a benchmark.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, here's how much you should know about.
And it usually provides some good comic relief because they just don't give a fuck at that point. And like the woman literally fell asleep like during the show. The guy was just talking about other stuff, would forget the questions all the time. It was hysterical. But Diane and I had to try out. We had to audition to get the middle spot, which involved us competing with, I think, 8 other couples in a brief performance. And we ended up crushing it. We got into the competition. And I think probably, because I
think you said you ended up with your shirt off.
I did take off my shirt.
I'm not sure if I've ever seen an occasion where you didn't end up with your shirt off.
It's true. I can do it right now.
This is one of the times where it paid off.
Didn't someone in the survey request?
Sam currently doesn't have a shirt on.
Someone requested more nudity in the podcast survey, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which you can find at podcast.
It's hard to convey, but if you listen closely, you can hear it.
You can hear the fleshy bits. So long and short of it, cruise is great, and we won the Newlywed Show.
Yeah. Way to rep.
That's all I got.
Way to rep whatever it was you were repping.
Yeah, it was good. Cruises are weird because you're just trapped on a boat, but they're good if you're able to accept that constraint.
It's a city. It's a boat city.
It's a boat city
that your whole city could sink at any moment.
It's a little freaky.
And of course, everybody gets food poisoning because it's just part of the cruise experience.
That's what it's about.
Okay, well, that's good. And Adam and I just we just hung out and did some work, family stuff. We worked on stuff, jammed on some stuff.
So let's talk about before we came into the podcast room. You had a little bit of a mishap.
You started to tell us a story, and we made you stop so you could hear it on the podcast.
So I was telling the story to these guys. I was like, I got to tell you the story now because I don't think I should tell it on the podcast.
You have to now.
I started telling it, and then they were like, no, you have to tell us on the podcast. So here's what happened.
Well, actually, I want to preface this with what happened from the outside, which is Sam and I were hanging out, getting ready to do the podcast, and then Seth went to the bathroom, closed the door, and then we just hear him giggling in there. And we're like, what the fuck?
So what happened was, what happened
Seth?
So there's those trash cans that you like, that little thing on you step on them and the lid flips open.
Yeah, the convenient foot pedal.
Yeah. So we have one of those in the bathroom down here. And so I go in there, I got to take a whiz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I go in the bathroom and the lid is down, for sanitary reasons. It's clean.
Wait, for the trash can lid or the toilet lid? Or
both of them.
Okay.
Both lids are down.
Okay.
So, and I'm sitting there, I'm prepping to go to Whiz Town.
Okay.
And I look over the trash can. I'm like, oh, do I need to change the trash bag in there? I got to see how full this thing is. So I step on the pedal,
so
the foot pedal.
By prepping to Whiz Town, you mean like
I'm standing over the toilet. I'm ready to go.
Guns out.
I haven't opened the toilet.
Ready to fire. Okay.
Yeah. So then I look over. I get distracted. I look over at the trash can. I'm like, I should check out this trash can situation. I hit the foot pedal. The lid pops open, and then all of a sudden in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's time to pee now. And then I had to catch myself, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that was the wrong. Toilets don't have foot pedals. But just because I stepped on a thing that opened a lid, my brain was like, lid open. Let's do this. So I had to intervene and keep it from becoming a disaster.
But you did intervene before the disaster?
I caught it. We're all good. Everything is squeaky clean.
Nice work.
No incident. But man, that was a close one. It's like never mind. Anyways.
I was just saying,
brains are weird.
It's good to know that that we're all just humans at the end of the day.
Yeah,
That's right.
Just
I guess it's
messy,
kind of
weird.
like when you're at a stoplight that's clearly red, but then the light like
The
two
light
in front
next
of
to
you
it turns
turns green, and your brain just like green.
Like,
and
time to
starts-
go now.
Yep.
The
You
light
start
turned
to
green.
drive.
No, you look at the wrong light.
Mhm.
There's wrong light situation.
Yeah,
So-
I almost put toothpaste in my contacts because I was like, I pulled out my contacts, opened them, and then just grabbed the nearest tube. Thing. and was like, oh,
Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff. Yeah, it's those automatic behaviors that kick in at the wrong. You hit the wrong trigger, and then boom, it's bad. So anyway, we wanted to do a quick recap of 2016 of what happened in 2016.
what did happen?
All right,
Well,
so
as we already discussed, everybody died.
Yeah.
everybody died, and then we have some statistics about our studio.
Yep.
Okay.
So let's hit those.
Oh yeah, what you got?
So as of the end of 2016, Butterscotch ID has 330,000 people in it.
Hey,
That's 33 Grinnells.
Yep.
That's how we measure our success.
Yeah.
By our hometown
Yeah.
size.
We're pretty confident that only
About
half
12.
of those are pirates.
Probably 12 people total are valid.
Yeah.
Um,
At least one person in there, which might be me, has actually bought Crashland.
we're not confident on even that number.
Yeah. I may also have
don't-
stolen it.
We don't
Who's to
trust
say?
Adam fully because he's the one telling us the piracy numbers, and you know, who
Mhm.
knows?
I could be inflating them, deflating them, just regular flating.
Just flating them. We also know that of those people in Butterscotch ID,
Okay.
and bear in mind, we put Butterscotch ID into our older games much later after they were launched. So like Quadrupus Rampage, for example, was out for a year and a half before Butterscotch ID.
yeah,
went into it.
most of the people who have ever played Quadrupus Rampage played it before Butterscotch ID existed.
So these numbers are going to be a little bit off for the older games, but of the players in Butterscotch ID, Tower Fight 2 and Flop Rocket have 6 years of playtime across all their players in Butterscotch ID.
It's pretty good.
It's a little bit. Not bad.
Quadrupus Rampage has 18 years.
That's
Of
a
human
full-grown
playtime.
adult.
Full
Yep.
person.
And yep, that can be drafted now. So
Mhm.
Quadrupus Rampage can
Send it right to
vote and buy lottery
Yeah.
tickets
Also smoke.
and smoke.
and shoot people.
And Crashlands has 454 years
Whoa.
of human playtime. It's
pretty
which
good.
is about almost 4 million hours.
That's gross.
Yeah.
So what could a person do with that much time?
Be alive like
single-
8 times.
You could only be alive for like a sixth of it.
We've absorbed like 8 whole people.
Just out of the world.
Yeah.
8 humans' lifetimes worth
no
of
longer
time.
exist.
I told you, this is how we feed.
We feed the beast.
Feed on your leisure time.
Yeah, so that's cool. And then also
That's
in the
great.
middle of so at the beginning of last year, at the time we launched Crashlands, we had about $800 in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And with the launch of Crashlands, we were able to back pay ourselves for the development, which was cool. And then also expand the studio and bring some new people in. So we've been learning a whole bunch about what does it mean to be an actual company instead of just a few weirdos making stuff that nobody cares about. So that's been.
I mean, we're still that though.
We're still we're still digging out of that hole.
We can be
It's got
both,
some
I think.
steep. It's got some steep edges. And we have finally landed on what I guess could be considered a mission statement, which,
Hey, it was like
which is
4
a
years.
thing that I guess businesses have. And now that we're one of those,
Yep.
we've got one.
Now that we have to actually pay taxes.
Yeah, now you have to declare a mission statement
Declare a
because the
mission
government's
statement.
like, wait, what are you even doing? Like, we're not going to take your tax. Oh, we shouldn't have declared the mission statement.
Loophole.
A little known loophole.
If nobody knows what you're doing, they can't stop you. So our mission statement is that we just our big vision, our big goal is to be the de facto cross-platform studio, meaning all the games that we make, we want to be playable by anyone. So we want to hit all the platforms that that anybody who plays games would have at least one of these things. So that means we're going to, strive for accessibility much more so than we used to, and large diversity in game mechanics. We still want to focus on storytelling and all that stuff, but the big goal is to just make our games as available as possible to as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's sort of our up through 2016. So what's going to happen next year?
Yeah. Well, this past year was also all about learning how to run a business and supporting Crashlands post-launch.
Oh yeah, we've never done that before.
Yeah.
Launched a game and then
Yeah.
Done
kept
something with it.
doing stuff with it.
Well, we hadn't had a game that people cared about that was worth
Yeah.
supporting. So then we did that, and it turns out that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
to
kind
be
of
honest,
interesting.
even though, and we talked about this a little bit, even though 2016 was our most successful year on paper, you were
Mhm.
like, these guys were super dirt poor. And every year preceding this one, now they're fine. I think all of us probably had less good of a time. In terms
Yeah, well,
of
we
doing
weren't.
stuff.
Yep.
We were learning a lot of really important lessons that unfortunately were, not super like thrilling to learn, I guess.
Like maintaining games isn't super.
Yeah, I mean, instead of
Fun.
building a new game and launching it and having all the cool stuff that comes with that, like spending 300 hours just making a character move on the screen using a controller instead of a mouse, it's just not that awesome, it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
Or going to like 6 different conventions in a 2-month time span to demo your game a whole bunch, only to learn by the time you do the 3rd convention that they don't matter, but still have already booked everything for 3 more.
Yep.
That's a thing that we did.
Yeah.
So we learned many lessons, but the beauty of it is that now we can take all those learned lessons and go into this next year with the explicit goal of just making games. Let everything else fall to the side, ignore it. Any responsibility we thought we had, we no longer have. We're just washing our hands of it.
Yep.
We're having one of those, what do you call it? A jubilee of responsibilities.
Yes.
What's that?
That's that like biblical
That's when
thing.
debt is all debts are
all
forgiven.
debts are
A
forgiven.
jubilee?
Yeah.
A jubilee.
Jubilee is a debt forgiving device.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's when the government says, hey, all debts are wiped clean. And all the lenders are like, well, this sucks. I shouldn't have given anybody money. Yeah. So that's our focus for the next year. We're going to be reprioritizing everything to get all of our focus onto the question, what allows us to make more games bigger, better, and faster?
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer is if a thing gets onto our plate and it doesn't help that goal, we're not going to do it.
Yep.
That's it.
We're done.
Yep. We're done messing around. What else are we doing in 2017?
That's it.
Hopefully,
That's it.
hopefully literally just that.
Hopefully, literally nothing else. We are going to GDC, which is actually coming up.
Yeah,
pretty
we are
quick.
doing that. They'll be giving 2 talks there.
Yep.
So I think we talked about our GDC talk strategy a little bit at some point, didn't we? As far as
That we submitted 10 talks and then 2 of them.
yeah, we were like, we're gonna get some in, so we shotgunned it.
Yep.
And then we accidentally got
And
2
we
of
put,
them in.
yeah, most of them we just randomly chose from the 3 of us what name would go on it. And then it ended up that the 2 we got are Sam's.
So now
All right.
Sam has to give
I
2
have to
talks.
go give 2 talks to GDC.
And then we tried to reassign one of them after they accepted it over to me.
Yeah, they were
and
like,
they were
nah.
like, no, it's got to be the person who it
Yep.
was submitted with. So Sam now has to prepare 2 GDC talks.
So my February is gonna be a little.
It's going to be a little rough. Oh, and then Seth and I are also doing this weird thing called power leveling, I want to say, run by glitch.mn, which is a cool nonprofit group that's all about bringing people into the game dev industry. And so the idea is that we're going to be at GDC. They're going to send, I think, 3 people in every group with every mentor to learn about GDC and get prepped beforehand and also do some interesting stuff while they're there. So if you would like to go to GDC and want to try to vie for one of these free passes as well as mentorship from somebody, I think they have 6 different groups. We should go scope that up. It's like glitch.mn.
Are we 2 of the 6 groups?
We are 2 of the 6 groups.
Hey.
Yep. Yeah, they call us guild leaders.
Yeah, you get to choose your guild mates, right?
But I will say,
Yep.
Adam and I, we'll be going through the applicants, and we'll pick people.
Yeah.
So make sure you're awesome. Otherwise, you're not going to get in there.
And also, Seth and I specifically are going to have our applicants battle to the death
yeah.
at
Yeah.
GDC though, so you'll still get to get there.
you get to go.
And then if you survive,
And that's all you'll get to do.
yeah.
You get to go, and then you get to go down. All right, let's get to some questions.
All right. Okay. So Degeki's just.
Oh yeah, what are these
Crushing
these
on
questions
questions.
though? They come from podcast.bscotch.net.
Sorry, it's like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm a little out of it.
So
Normally we record this at 3 a.m. So
Yeah.
it's
it's like
Super
a time
early.
time zone shift. But yeah, so if you go to podcast.bscotch.net, you can ask us a question. That's it. You should do that.
just do it.
Do it. Okay. Degeki asks, for 3 weeks, I've been binge listening to the podcast from 1 to 78, which means 78 hours.
Over how much time?
3 weeks.
78
hours. That's like a
hours.
part-time gig. Nicely done.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was entertaining, educational, and encouraging. Good. Since then, I found myself speaking like you bros, using intonations, inflections, and similar speech patterns. Should I seek medical help?
No, you should take it to the next level by watching Olin Rogers.
Yeah.
Because he actually has some of the same kinds of inflections that we have, but
more
much
so.
more exaggerated.
Yeah.
So if you I mean,
Double down.
You're going down the track. You
Just
might
go
as
for
well
it.
just keep going.
Well, I think there's this interesting thing in psychology, which is one of the basic fundamental pieces of humans relating to one another is a form of mimicry. So, and you'll notice this, you should notice it when you're talking to a friend or even like a stranger as they're sort of warming up to you. Oftentimes you'll start seeing your body language sync with the other person or vice versa. And you can do it as sort of, once you become aware of it, you can use it as sort of almost like a cheap sort of mind control where you can.
People will trust you more if your body language and
Reflects
behaviors reflects theirs. Yeah.
Right.
Is
And
it to be a
people-
mirror reflection?
Yes. Yes.
So
it
like-
has to be the opposite.
So, you know,
So like
yeah,
their right arm moves and your right arm
yeah,
moves.
otherwise
immediately.
it doesn't.
it has to be
work.
within like a half a second. Otherwise,
So you need to start having
Just
them
start
think
miming.
they're looking in a mirror.
Yeah, we're not talking just vague behavior mimicries. We're talking direct one-to-one, zero MS lag mimicry.
And so then they'll start saying things like, stop copying me.
stop
But then
copying
you'll
me.
say it at the same time, and that will endear them. To
And then they'll start to think, wait, am I me? Or is that person me?
Or are we
what
all-
What if I'm the cop?
and then they'll give you all their money.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
It's a classic scam.
So
Be careful, but don't fall for it.
So there's that saying what mimicry is
the
best
sincerest
form of flattery.
form
Yeah,
of
that
something.
thing.
Flattery.
whatever the hell you understand. But the point is that
I think only assholes end up actually saying that, though, in defense of being an asshole.
Well, you mean when they mock
mimic.
people by mimicking their voice or
Yeah.
something? Maybe.
You know?
Maybe.
it's true. I don't think I've ever heard someone be like, "Yeah, I mean, I love you," and mimicry is the sincerest.
Yeah.
It's always when
It's
someone's being a
defensible.
dick. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're like, well, I mean, come on. It's
Yes,
I was just
So-
adopting your weird ass speech pattern in the moment to heighten how much I love you. No, so the point is that a lot of people when they get a group of friends or when they get like a new person comes to the group, and you might find yourself doing this on occasion in a way that you feel like might be a little bit like slipping you into some sort of bigoted territory. Where if you meet someone who, for example, is like a fresh immigrant and they have an accent, if you hang out with them for a while, there's a good chance that you will accidentally say something to them using whatever their sort of general intonation is in English. You will accidentally adopt their accent a lot of times, just sort of like briefly.
And then all of a sudden you'll be mortified.
And then you're like, oh God. And it's just the weird thing about it is it's a really a fundamental way of people just relating to one another is just become similar to one another.
Yeah.
But this
And-
brings up a bigger, I think, a more interesting question, which is everything that you do is some form of mimicry.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
I mean,
what do you mean?
well, for example, not just the way that you speak, but the words that you use, the language that you speak, you are
It's fabricated by other humans.
it's fabricated by other people and you're imitating it, right? So if you took your exact self, let's say you get branched the universe when you were born, right?
Okay.
One branch stayed maybe in Iowa or something, and another one went to Thailand, right? If those two people then grew up over there and then met, they'd be very different people.
Yeah.
It'd
Very
be really
different
hard
people.
to do a git merge.
Yeah, you couldn't
lot of
merge it. It would
conflicts.
be hard to merge it back.
Yeah.
Completely different worldviews, opinions, life experiences, behaviors, ideas, because everything that you are there is no such thing as you. You're just an amalgamation of a whole bunch of crap that got thrown into a
And
bucket, and that bucket just kind of traveled around the world, and people just dumped stuff into it.
And so
that's
if
what you are.
if 78 of your previous
You're a bit
3
bucket.
weeks of life, 78 hours of your previous 3 weeks worth of life have been butterscotch, then are we not some portion of you?
Yes, this is us.
Yeah.
This podcast is us cloning ourselves into your bucket, into your body bucket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's a radio show. It's a biology experiment.
All right, next question comes from Bam 182.
Wait,
Or
say again?
Bam-
What's it again?
Bam. Bam 182. She says, I'm probably sitting in traffic as you're answering this question. What can I do to not go insane? What's your favorite thing to do to pass time in traffic? I know Adam has to drive quite a bit every day to get here.
Yeah. I just listen to podcasts. This is the
Which
only
ones?
solution.
You got any recommendations?
So there's this one called Coffee with Butterscotch. It's pretty good.
Mhm.
And then my Bim Bam, my brother and me, which we also take some
also
inspiration
three
from.
brothers.
Yep. They are far more successful as a podcasting trio.
It's a general advice show
for the modern era.
for the modern era. They take questions from Yahoo Answers and also from their listeners, and then they mostly don't answer them.
Yes. But yeah, so if you enjoy the stuff that we're doing, you would almost definitely also enjoy that. And then otherwise, it's got a lot of kind of NPR related shows and stuff, trying to learn some things about the universe.
Freakonomics Radio.
Freakonomics is a great one.
Planet Money.
Yep.
Which is it's sort of got a economics or markets slant to it, but they do all kinds of really interesting stuff on Planet Money.
And How I Built This is a particular good one. Also, probably of interest to listeners of this podcast. It's interviews with people who have created really interesting companies, mostly, and kind of how they got there. And it's very insightful. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Do you guys listen to podcasts on normal speed?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you do? You listen to them on half speed? Can't keep up, Sam?
I listen to them on 2x speed.
Is that all?
Yeah,
but I also listen to a lot of comedy ones though too, and so
comedy doesn't work.
Timing is important.
Yeah.
Oh, also The Adventure Zone.
Yeah, I listened to that one with my wife.
That's the Dungeons and Dragons podcast also by the McElroy brothers who do My Brother with Me.
Yeah,
it's amazing,
particularly good. But I don't listen to that in the car because I'm not allowed to. Only at home.
You don't want to get ahead episode. It's like watching Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
I'll do it.
We're not basically Game of Thrones.
Yep.
Our next question comes from Alan Falcon, who asks, "What is your least favorite holiday, and why do we yawn when others yawn?"
Well, this comes back to that
strange 2-in-1.
Probably he was
Maybe he yawned.
experiencing his least favorite holiday, and he couldn't stop yawning because it was so boring.
You know, it's weird. If you just say the word yawn, it makes people yawn. I
Yeah,
bet,
I was about
I bet
to,
a bunch
actually.
of people on this podcast are yawning right now.
Did we do it? Did it work?
About 900
How many
people, on the
people
planet
yawned?
just yawn.
We just made people yawn.
We're just cloning.
One time I saw something that made me laugh so fucking hard, and I was in high school.
Okay.
And Adam and I were leaving the school. I was going to the parking lot, and Adam was in a car, whatever car he was driving at the time, I don't know. And he just drove past me, but he was yawning the whole time he was driving. So from the outside, I just see Adam driving past for some reason with his mouth just fucking wide open the entire time he's driving.
It's also possible I was screaming and had a really well soundproofed vehicle.
Isn't it weird that how when you yawn, you have to like unhinge your jaw? You know, it's like,
Maybe it goes back to
Why can't you yawn with your nose?
have you ever tried? Have you tried to do that? Like if you're talking to someone and you need to yawn, if you suppress the yawn like this, I'm sure someone else has had to have done this before. But if you're chatting with
it kind of
someone,
like goes up into your ears?
yeah, and you're like,
It would be nice if you could just transfer it to another area. You're like, I want to yawn with my arm right now, and you just kind of like get it up in the air, get it back down,
stretch it out
get
real
that
big.
yawn out.
Yeah.
That kind of is what
Maybe just like
stretching
do
is.
a squat. Somebody yawns and you just do a jumping jack.
Dude, if you uncontrollably did squats that were also contagious.
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
You just walk past.
Contagious
Something super
squats.
boring is happening. Somebody next to you just starts squatting. You start squatting.
Suddenly the whole crowd.
Everybody's just like, oh God, we
man.
would all have such great thighs.
Well, this gets into a fascinator's question for the week, which is, Seth, what does your workout routine look like? Is every day arm day? How often do you skip leg days? What's your diet like? Etc.
So I consume 200 grams of protein a day. I do arm days and leg days equally.
Is that on top of only eating meat, or is that included in the only eating meat part of your diet?
Well, I do. I take a protein bar and then I use 2 steaks as like buns.
Right.
And then
So does that total add up to 200 grams, or
it's at least 200 grams. Okay. Yeah. I try to go for the 1 gram per pound of body weight idea. Plus,
you weigh 200 pounds?
plus a little bit more.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I weigh about 180. And then I do a lot of leg days. I just don't wear short shorts, so you can't see my.
You can't see how rippling.
You can't
his
see my
quads
rippling
are.
quads. No, it's like 4 days a week.
Would you recommend for someone trying to grow their guns
Mm-hmm.
that high reps and low sets, or high sets and low reps?
Neither.
nice?
What does that mean?
Low number of sets, medium number of reps, but your final set should always be a failure set. Because much like life, you cannot advance in lifting unless you push yourself to the point of being incredibly uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you got to take that last set and you got to go as hard as you can.
That's right.
So you can't lift it anymore. And then you have a spotter. That's important. You have somebody with you. Then they take it and they save your life. And
Yeah.
they put the bar back
Right.
on so you don't die.
Yep.
That's how you win.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
Cool.
I hope that was helpful.
All right, next question comes from another one who asks, what music do you listen to, and does music influence your work in any way?
Ooh, what do we listen to? Random shit.
What were we listening to before we got in here?
I don't know.
It started going real weird.
I still only listen to the Crypt of the Necrodancer soundtrack.
Yeah, Adam exclusively listens to that.
Yep.
I listen to a lot. Sam listens to a lot of chill step kind of stuff. while
My
working.
favorite one has been the Un-Pluto remix of the song Ride by 21 Pilots. There's a lot of
It was
words.
a very confusing.
That was one thing? That
Unlike
was one?
It's the 21 Pilots Ride song, which everyone knows.
Wait.
It's like a thing on the radio now.
21 Pilots Ride. That's a song.
21 Pilots is the artist, Ride is the song.
Oh,
But
it's
song
the-
isn't part
I was
of
like,
the
pilots
song.
don't ride.
Correct.
They pilot. That's
It's
stupid.
the Unlike Pluto remix of that song.
that song.
You found it on YouTube. It's a chill nation
Unlike
thing.
wait, is Unlike Pluto
Is the
another
group.
artist?
Yes,
Okay.
that remixed it. It was very confusing.
Got
It
it.
literally looks just like a smattering of. The first time I tried, because I randomly found it, and then I was like, I was trying to
this is
remember
good.
it.
I'm going to remember this.
I was like, how
No, you're
the
not.
fuck?
It's like one of those XKCD passwords.
Yeah,
Yeah.
21 Pilots Unlike Pluto Ride remix.
Yeah. That
What?
would have been a great password. It is no longer a great password.
Or is it? Because it's impossible to remember.
That's true.
Put that in your last pass. You never have to think about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I listen to, what do I listen to? I've been using that on Spotify. They've got the like, you can make a playlist, and then under the playlist, they give you a bunch of recommendations of shit. You can hit a refresh button. It'll give you just a whole bunch of stuff. I usually just hang out in that thing because it's really weird stuff all the time.
Is that where that like screaming beatbox came in right
Yeah.
before we came in here?
Yeah, it was a super quiet, chill song, and then all of a sudden it just started screaming for no reason. You just can't get that from regular music. You know, you got to go down to the weird part.
Well, I think a lot of people do listen to either podcasts while they're doing work, or audiobooks,
Yeah, don't do that.
or a bunch of different random songs. Yeah, I would highly suggest just picking a song and playing it on repeat.
Yeah.
It's the best.
You should be trying to go into a Zen state, meaning
Mm.
you actually don't want the music to influence you at all.
Yes.
Right.
You want it to take away the rest of the world by immersing
Well,
you
the
in
music will influence
something that
you.
becomes nonsense.
So, for example, you don't want to listen to super sad music on repeat.
no, you should mostly listen to Turn Down for What.
You should listen to something
Yeah.
with a good beat that it ideally doesn't have lyrics, but it's okay if it does, if it's on repeat and generally kind of mindless. Listen to the same song over and over again, and that's it.
I listened to a bunch of Ariana Grande the other week.
Yeah.
Great choice.
I was listening to
Just whatever.
Alan Walker. That's some good stuff. It's
Mhm.
good repeat music. But yeah, the point
I was
is,
listening to some Justin Bieber.
yeah,
I'm not ashamed.
the Biebs.
The Biebs. His new stuff's pretty good, to be honest. The Biebs.
Is that his new thing? The
Yeah, it was
Biebs?
actually-
Is that what his new name is?
Since
The
I
Biebs.
almost only listen to podcasts in the car now, then I'm becoming increasingly out of touch with whatever is actually on the radio, you know. So every once in a while I'll turn it on a short drive or something and hear a new song. And I swear to God, every time I find out who the person was who was singing that song later,
It's Justin
it was
Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
He's very
Every time.
dynamic.
Apparently.
Even when you're like, oh, this is Ariana Grande. Like, no, it's
That's Justin Bieber again.
Yeah. He's everywhere. You can't escape the Biebs. Okay.
Yeah.
What's next? Did we get it? Did we answer it?
I think we
did.
got.
Okay.
So the next question comes from Arcarnix, who asks, "What's your most anticipated upcoming indie game?
Ooh.
Do you even know what's coming out?"
No. How about this? What's an indie game that's coming up that you know about? We'll start with that.
Oh shit!
I know about Astroneer.
That one, yeah, that just came out. in early
I don't
access.
know if I'm
It's in early
I'm not
access.
anticipating it because I already have it now.
Well, yeah, it's already in early access. So
So-
that's I think that's part of the problem is most indie games you really only discover once you can already get them
Yeah.
most of the time, or they're being kickstarted or something. Although I can say Battle Chef Brigade.
Oh yeah.
No, and even more so. I mean, that one's obviously top of the list.
Yeah.
But then the other one is Sneaky Sasquatch.
Oh yeah.
Has that been announced?
I don't know. So I won't say anything else about it except that
Oh, it's
this is a
amazing.
game that is amazing.
We don't even know who's making it. What even is it? Did
I
we
don't
make
know.
it up? Nobody
Nope.
knows.
Nobody knows.
NDA. We signed one. No, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
Yeah. So
are my top
Astroneer,
ones.
but it's already in early access.
So why do you think it is that we don't know what the hell's going on? This is interesting.
Because indie game developers are overwhelmed with just the act of making a game and marketing it.
and those who aren't will never finish making their game.
Whoa. I don't know what that means, but
It means if you find yourself as an indie developer knowing anything about anything going on.
Or making something that other people know about because you took time to let them know that it exists.
You made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, marketing your games is really hard, and indies don't have the time or money to do it usually. So they'll go for a big marketing push like right at the time their game comes out. Like that's how we tend to do it as well.
Yep.
So
A little bit of a trickle and then a big push right at the time. of
yeah, it's
launch.
not like, Call of Duty 93 and you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be so much better than 92. And you're hearing about it for 6 months and there's like a
But also with
fucking
those,
Subway ad with it.
right? But also with those, the moment that you play one of those games like Fallout, there will be another Fallout in something like 2 years, right? And so it's kind of you're just waiting for any signal whatsoever that this thing is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's one aside from Battle Chef Brigade, obviously.
Well, yeah, of course.
Quadrupus Rampage 2. I feel like that's going to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Although nobody knows what the actual title is going to be
Or what the gameplay will be
game
like.
is going to be like.
Or what characters will be in it.
Yeah.
But it will be a game.
I'm pretty excited for it.
That is the game I'm most excited about, truthfully.
Aside from Battle Chef Brigade.
Yeah, of course. Next question comes from Degeki, who asks, who came up with the thank you email sent after purchasing a Butter Up? You should give them a 100% salary raise or a hearty congrats because that alone encouraged me to butter up twice more after getting crash ins on Steam, already on iPhone.
Hey, Sam, how about that salary raise?
I don't even remember if I
Wait,
wrote.
did you come up with it?
I don't know.
It was either me or Sam. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know.
I guess we should just both take it.
I guess
100%.
I guess
raise?
you guys both get it.
Then we have to.
Says you should get on this email chain, man.
When do I get to write
Yeah, well,
emails?
we talked about this a lot where there was one, I think the verification email
Yeah.
where Adam pointed out, I think it was Adam pointed out that it sucked. So
Yep.
we argued about it a bit and he was like, we should not send out things that suck.
We should not send out things that are boring.
They should always be entertaining, even if it's a verification email for
Yeah.
getting your Butterscotch ID. So for people who
Because
have
if because they have to open a verification email, right? So if you open a verification email and you are entertained, you're going to open.
You're
our
like,
emails.
whoa,
that was good.
that was a good email.
So you have to if you click on the verification thing, it's like putting a ring on. There's a ring, and you have to like click in it to get your
To commit,
verification.
Yeah. Those of you
to
who
make
joined,
a commitment to us and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Mhm.
Those of you who joined Butterscotch ID a long
Are
time
married
ago.
to us.
Yeah,
It's
this
very
relationship's getting weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
But yeah, the general idea was that we wanted to take those points where usually people are just kind of bored with whatever's happening or not being entertained,
which is most of the time.
which is most of the time. If you look at, if you examine almost any correspondence that you have to do with a business that's not about them selling you something, so where they're like, "Hey, here's your confirmation." This is boring as fuck.
Everything,
verification.
everything.
Even
that
when they're trying to
businesses
sell
do.
you something.
They
Usually like-
sand
boring
off
stuff.
all the edges because they want to make sure they're like, well, if we make a joke, people will take us seriously, or we might offend somebody by being humorous
Yeah.
or whatever.
Better rip out all that soul.
What if we send an email to a person who hates laughter and then we lose that customer?
Yeah.
Nah, fuck them. We don't want that customer.
So we rewrote the verification email, and then the next day, someone tweeted at us with a screenshot of it and was like, "This is
This verification
amazing."
email is so good.
And I had to eat crow a bit because I've been arguing with Adam about it. I was like, I don't want to do it. Like,
Turns
do it.
out I was right on.
You know what I feel like this is so when Sampi and I when we moved into our house last year, we had been living in apartments with white walls for like 5
all
years.
the time.
Yeah. And when we moved in here, we were like, no more. And then we painted the walls like every fucking color imaginable.
Mhm.
So you go upstairs, like the kitchen is teal, the wall is fuchsia, or the hallway is fuchsia, the living room is deep blue, because I think like the longer you get exposed to just this,
Just barren.
barren, everything is just completely as mundane and clean and neat as possible.
Inoffensive.
Yeah, because that's why apartments paint their walls white, right? And so why they have beige carpets and whatever. And it's because it's so boring that nobody can be fired up about it.
Yeah, you can be fired up in an upset way about it, right? You can be like, "This is neutral."
Yeah, if you walk in the
This is
apartment
fine.
and the apartment walls are orange, you're like, "Whoa,
I
this is-
don't like
I don't
orange."
like orange," right? But if it's white, you don't notice it.
Mhm.
So people are like, yeah, whatever.
So we've kind of taken the opposite approach where we're like, we want to use this as a forward filter too. Like if you get our verification email and you're like,
Oh, never
"This is
mind.
dumb. I don't want to click this
You're
ring."
not going to like our games
Yeah.
either.
Yeah,
We're just
so
saving you some
we might as
trouble.
well just end that relationship right
Yep.
there at that moment.
Yeah.
Be done with it.
Well, there's interesting stuff in personality psychology too, which basically the rough idea is just that everything that you do, from your handwriting to the way you organize your room, the way you drive your car, everything, your gait, the way you talk, sort of is has like splashes of your personality just all over it. And so if you get enough of these points, this is where the whole idea with metadata comes in. And the reason it's actually dangerous is because you can learn a ton, not only about what a person's interested in, but actually about how they kind of operate by examining their room, for example.
So could you look at somebody's purchase history and then infer their voice to then make fake news items with having them say things they didn't actually say?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
These are very dangerous times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, there is a lot of that in the corporate style is sort of just try to get rid of all that. And, and we talked about in the previous episode, part of the reason why we put our faces on stuff, not because we care about our faces, but because we wanted to make a personal connection in a real way with people. And so part of that's just infusing everything with, frankly, some humor. And I mean,
on our splash screen, like that's us singing it.
Yeah.
With Patrick mixed in there on the chorus.
Yeah. Keep us alive.
Yeah. Cause he's a much better singer. So we had to kind of just mix that.
He has this thing called being on pitch. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna probably read about it for a while, read some books, do some research.
Yeah. I'm
sure it'll just pan out.
I think I'm gonna put on my resolutions for this year and then I'll just not do it.
Yeah. Oh, did you guys make any
on your list though?
Did you guys make any resolutions?
I made quite a few.
You should talk. Wait, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about resolutions because it's fucking New Year's.
That's true.
Everybody makes resolutions to start doing things that they haven't been doing. Right? Maybe
we should do this. Let's do this as a podcast community.
A pod community.
Or just a pod.
Like a pod. You guys went there.
Or how about a Comcast?
A Comcast.
No. As a pod.
Yeah.
What we should do, because probably a good portion of people made some resolutions this year, right? Where you're like, I'm going to do a thing.
I'm going to start exercising.
I'm going to start this. I'm going to start that. I'm going to finish this, finish that. Instead, I think the key is, and this is what Seth and I were discussing and Adam a little bit when we were talking about resolutions a couple of days ago, is actually to instead decide what you're not going to do this year. What do you
decide what you're not going to do, and also figure out how you're going to do the things you have been doing better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we were talking about. Because I actually have every year, Diane and I write down a burn list of things that we're just ready to fucking be done with in 2016, for example. So for the past year, and then we burn that list, right? So you
write it on paper,
set it on fire. In a safe place. And then we write the resolutions list. And so I have all of mine for the last 4 years.
So really your resolution should also be a burn list.
It should be
a forward-facing burn list.
But so I actually have all mine from the past 4 years. And so I got it out when we were about to do this on the 31st and was looking over it and looked over 2016s. And then I was like, and I pull it up and look over 2015s and 14s and 13s. I'm like, a lot of these are basically the same. Have I had and not accomplished the same things for 4 years?
Yeah. Then do you really give
do I really give a fuck? And also, is this approach?
No,
I think the question is also, is this approach the one that would actually get me to where I'm trying to go? The answer is no. And that's why I think the most important resolution to make is to decide what you're not doing. So this year, all my resolutions.
The fat of life.
Exactly. All my resolutions are about not doing things. Every single one of them.
So what are you going to not do?
Not doing social media.
Nice.
Fuck that.
Yeah, I think on Sunday, on New Year's Day, we were all hanging out. We're talking about how stupid and shitty Facebook and Twitter are. And during that conversation, my wife and I both were just like, yeah, and we just pulled out our phones and we just uninstalled both.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My life has not gotten any worse as a consequence.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it came from me from being on that boat for a week because you have no
internet.
You have no internet and you don't have any phone service. So you're actually completely disconnected.
Except you're actually more connected.
I was.
Oh my God.
To the world. I was thinking a lot more and I was like,
what's like those fucking Apple Watch commercials or whatever they like the Android Wear and stuff like that. Like people are out there hiking out in the mountains. It's beautiful scenery and stuff. And then they're just staring at their
playing Flappy Bird.
Playing Flappy Bird the whole time.
You got a text message, buddy. I know you're on a mountain enjoying a beautiful view, but I really want to make sure you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Google Glass, augmented reality, whatever. We don't get it. Stop it.
Stop, guys. Just stop. So I think that's my challenge to the podcast community. What are you not going to do this year that you usually do? What are you not going to do? Cut it out.
Yeah. Come up with like 3 things, 4, 10 things.
Seth, what are you not going to do this year?
I'm not going to do gray time
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gray time is mindless time where you're pretending to do multiple things at once.
But really
You're
definitely
doing
not.
basically neither of them.
This is what we talk about with not listening to audiobooks and stuff when you're doing things that are important.
Yep.
Yeah.
You do the
Because
thing.
you're actually not listening to the audiobook and also not doing
And you're
it.
barely doing the thing
Yep.
or not doing it at all.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's all about fully embrace it's the Ron Swanson philosophy. Don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing,
Mhm.
right? So there's a bunch of things on my list of things that I have been allowing to creep in and pull my attention away. So things like Reddit or, watching YouTube videos or whatever. These are things that are generally useless and you don't get anything meaningful out of them. You don't get any human connection.
Except fail videos.
Fail videos are the only YouTube videos I watch. Fail
too.
videos and Olin Rogers.
Yeah,
But again-
those are sparse.
But again, you got to be careful because there's so many of them.
There are now. I only watch the ones from Fail Army. I have
Yeah.
a brand dedicated to
Yeah.
this
Yep,
point.
exactly.
Yeah, so you got to figure out if you're gonna do it, you got to be aware that it's like one of those ants that digs a hole with slippery slopes on the edge, and then it just fucking eats whatever slips down the edge. Because once you
An
start
antlion.
an antlion,
Yeah.
yeah. Once you start
Or a
sliding,
funnel
once you
spider.
start sliding down the walls of that funnel,
Ooh boy.
fucking antlion's gonna get you. So. Also, you should look up antlions on YouTube and watch
it's
some of those
amazing.
videos
Yeah, they're actually
for like
very-
6 hours because there's thousands of hours of antlion
Yeah.
videos on YouTube.
And I think, people talk about, mindfulness has been this big wave that came up in the last 2 years or so. It really, everyone's just doing too many fucking things.
Well, so mindfulness, it didn't used to really be that
'Cause
big
you-
of a thing.
why would it be a thing?
It's what you're already
You couldn't
doing.
do anything
Yeah,
else.
because
but
when
what
you
were
when,
doing.
when you didn't have people sticking a screen in your face all the time against your will most of the time, then you just got to think about things. So and this might sound weird coming from a company that literally makes things on that particular screen.
And that has consumed 450 human hours of time on that screen.
And we hope they were focused, enjoyed moments.
well, that's the thing is like
if you were also watching Netflix,
Oh man, come on. Enjoy Crash Land.
it's all about deciding to do a thing that you want to do, taking control of the moment and doing that thing to the max.
Let's talk
right?
about push notifications real quick.
Oh,
turn them off.
yeah, about how if an app sends you a push notification, you should just uninstall it.
Yeah.
Either uninstall it or if you, on Android devices, if you just press and hold on it on the notification, it'll just open up the notification settings and you can just hit off.
Ooh.
It will no longer tell you.
I remember when we were first putting Crashlands together, we were like, we should look into the push notification stuff from
Well,
Game
things
Maker.
they do boost your revenue if you're a free game, of course,
They
because
do.
you get to be like, hey, your plant's done.
And they boost your engagement.
Yeah.
And we were thinking about it. We are like, oh yeah, we should have it so you plant a seed or whatever, and then we'd have it take like an hour to grow, and then when it's done, if you're not playing the game actively at the moment, then I'll send you a push notification, be like, oh, your tree sprouted or whatever. And then we thought about it for another second, and we were like,
Fuck
no.
that.
If people don't want to play the game right now, then they don't have to. We're cool with
Yeah.
it.
It's a novel concept, Seth.
Yeah, they should play the game when they want to.
I think 2017 is going to be the year of less. That was my brand this year. Last year was supposed to be the year of making stuff, which did not pan out very well.
Oh, and
This is the year of throwing stuff away.
Yeah.
And
I can do that.
I feel like I do a pretty good job of this in general, but I don't want to complain this year.
Yeah.
And so there was Sam was telling me yesterday about this. So you're reading the book. Was it Tools of Titans?
Tools of Titans.
And there's this one. You should tell it.
Oh, yeah,
This,
so there's-
this Navy guy.
There's a
or whatever.
few. So this is a book put together by Tim Ferriss, who's the guy who does all these experiments on himself for various, trying to sort of be extremely productive.
more like psychological experiments, not like lab sort of.
well, I mean, a lot of them are health related stuff. So he does do a lot of weird, like eats a lot of things,
Oh,
vitamins, all sorts of weird shit.
putting stuff in his body.
Yeah,
too.
he's actually doing that. But so a lot of them are psych related, and so there's a good number of really fun quotes in this book. And one of my favorite ones is from this Navy SEAL named Jocko, which is real.
which is also the name of our dad's 11-pound miniature dachshund.
Yeah, it was very jarring to read that.
We thought it was a dog name. We didn't know it was.
But his
Actually, first.
his suggested quote or idea for people to really grab a hold on is good. That's it.
That's it.
So when
Whatever
someone,
happens, you
when
just
someone
say
says,
good.
oh, you just got laid off from your job. Good.
Yeah.
I've been looking for more free time. Or if they say, hey, because in his example, of course, it's all army and like mission related stuff, which is always imperative things. And so, if they needed to ask an officer for something and didn't get it, then he'd basically say, good, now we can try this crazy thing. Or now Johnson's going to have to figure out how to put our boot soles back on with gum. Because
And I feel like this is sort of the game jam mentality, right? Where someone's like, okay, you only have 48 hours to make a game.
Good.
You're on a team of strangers. Here's the restriction you have to do it under. And then you're going to use this software. You've never used it before. Good. This is going to be interesting, right? It's just it's the idea of just taking all of the just crazy shit that happens on a day-to-day basis or a week-to-week basis and just kind of just relishing in it.
Yeah.
And just being like, fuck yeah, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to make the most of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to try to hit that more.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, cool.
Okay, next question.
Next question comes from...
Did we answer it? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think I know it was Arcarnix, who asks, do we have anything special planned for the 100th podcast, which is in 20 episodes, which is in 20 weeks, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to plan
So that's
anything.
5 months?
You guys, we don't plan things very well. Let's be real.
No, we don't.
What could we do?
We
could
could
live
do-
record it.
We could take.
Then it would just be worse.
We could
It'd
take
just be us by
callers.
ourselves.
We could take callers on the air.
Ooh.
We could.
Or we could take callers, not actually on the air though. Just take callers, and then we could just choose the ones we want. So it's just the same.
Do
podcast
voicemails?
questions. Do voicemails, and then we could put the voicemail in, but then pretend like we're answering it live.
Yeah.
Mm.
And we can argue with them.
Yeah.
And we'll be
I
like,
guess
why
what-
won't you respond? And then hang up.
Yeah.
What would you get? What would people even want to see for 100th episode?
I want to do a mega episode.
What does that mean?
Just a longer one, like an extra 10
We're,
minutes.
we were actually talking the other day about how we need just a boom mic in the office because we frequently have just ridiculous
stuff.
conversations that if we could just have a button and be like, this is getting good. I'm hitting the button and then be able to give that out, like
Yeah.
maybe we should have Patrick follow us for
I was
a
gonna say
day.
actually, or we could have just a more musical episode with, and then have Patrick, our sound guy, come in and infuse a lot more just music into everything.
Maybe we
it's
should
very-
pay him to just auto-tune the entire 60 minutes into
Yeah.
a song. We saw him do that with the jingle, the holiday jingle. That was
Yeah.
incredible.
Oh, here's what we could do.
Mm.
We could release a family-friendly episode. No, I'm just kidding. That's fucking. Who's gonna listen to that?
No
Families? Jeez, this podcast is not for children. We've been over this.
Yeah, an
Yeah,
hour ago.
like 80 times.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Get it through your skull.
I think doing an extra long episode. I like the episodes where we just do a question blitz
Mhm.
or something.
It's usually fun.
Yeah.
They need to be definitely in the morning with caffeine. Around 9 o'clock is usually the best time.
Or in the
Seems like.
evening, super drunk.
Yeah, one of the two.
Or
We have talked in the
Oh.
past about the prospect of trying to figure out a way to have guests on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
But there's 2 layers of complication. One is the tech thing, because right now we're all in the same room. So we would need somebody sort of like on Skype or something.
Mm-hmm.
But in
that
such
we
a
can
way,
all somehow hear
But that didn't get picked up by the mics.
so that they're piped into the device.
yeah. So I think the only way to do it would be to do something that would probably make Patrick's head explode, which would be to get a computer, put them on Skype, and then put the extra microphone we have in this room up to
Next to
the
the
speaker. of that computer.
Patrick would just start vomiting when he heard
Yeah,
it.
he would
Yeah.
just.
Well, what's the other problem though?
The other problem is that it would just we don't want to do it.
Well, you got to plan. You got to plan
It
stuff.
adds administrative layers.
Yeah, we have to go find people to be guests.
Well,
reach
there's a
out to them
third
and
one,
schedule it,
which is if we then interview somebody and it's a bad interview,
Mm.
then what do we do? Just throw the podcast episode away and skip a week?
Just burn the
Yeah.
basement down.
Yeah.
yeah. What if we
I'll go
invite
into
somebody on
hiding.
who we thought they were super nice, and then
They start saying just a bunch of racist stuff.
yeah,
What about that? Now what do we do?
yeah,
Yeah.
People-
It's
what do we do?
dangerous. It's dangerous to let people into your lives.
yep. You should not
Stay at
trust
home.
anyone.
Trust no
Why do you
one.
think we podcast in a basement storage room? We got to make sure we're as far away from other humans as possible.
Yeah.
Anyway, we never
What?
answered the question of what's the most boring holiday.
Oh yeah, because it was in that weird two-part question with unrelated
This
questions.
is the danger, folks, of asking two-part questions. Is we might miss
The
one
most
of them.
boring holiday is
basically all of them.
Well, Columbus Day.
Columbus Day is the most horrible holiday.
Yeah,
Well, actually,
that's
no,
very
also-
interesting because of how horrible it is. So I would not say it's boring.
Okay, so how about Labor Day? What's that one? There's a few.
That's kinda-
That's where you just
That's
don't
but
work.
that's the most amusing because you're celebrating labor by not working.
Yeah,
What about President's Day?
that one's.
Why is that a thing?
I don't even know what the holidays are.
What about?
I don't know when they are. I know that they are.
Well, someone informed us that there's MLK Day is coming up.
next Monday, I believe.
Yeah, because we don't look at our schedules.
More than a day in advance.
Yeah, we just never know what's
Or
happening.
even sometimes on the day.
Yeah,
Yep.
I had a call this morning that I saw 2 minutes before I had to be on the call this morning. Super on top of my game recently.
Yeah. But
Then Seth saw a call 2 minutes after we were supposed to be on a call this afternoon.
But it's close enough.
yeah,
It's
it's on time.
So we barely know what minute it is.
I don't know what holiday is the most boring.
I think I mean it's what you make of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean it on Easter. Easter is fucking awesome.
Yeah, to me, it's the ones that I
because
just
everywhere
literally
you
ignore.
go, it's Cadbury mini eggs.
Yeah,
Just everywhere.
Halloween's
right?
good because everyone's creepy and weird.
Yeah.
It's good. There's candy.
And you just like on Halloween, you just be like, I'm gonna paint my whole body orange and wear a leotard
Everyone's like, yeah, that
and
sounds
I'm
great.
gonna go to the store and people are like, oh,
If you show up not completely painted in orange,
it's like, who's this weirdo?
wow, weirdo.
Get this weirdo out of my store. Where's your leotard?
I don't know. I guess the best answer to this is most boring holidays are the ones that we don't even remember or know about.
Yeah.
They're so boring, not even on
They're
the list.
so boring. We've never even heard of them.
Yeah. All
Cool.
right. I think that's it for this podcast.
Yeah.
If you want to ask more questions, go to podcast.bscotch.net. We also have a survey you can fill out, which is at
We'll probably
Also there.
there.
we'll probably
two.
pull it down after another week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know.
It's also, or you can also get to it at bit.ly/.
B-Scotch jorts.
Y nope slash YCWB, except the Y is the word spelled out.
It's WHYCWB. But the word double spelled out and then
The
The
U
letter H.
also spelled out, but it's the sheep type.
it's a double U
And then B is in the insect.
and B as in the insect.
If you can't figure that out, I can't even help you.
Yeah. You're beyond redemption.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.